In today's video, we start getting the Toyota pickup roadworthy. This truck was sitting for over 10 years. These little things are popped off. It's all together now. 3 manufacturers make a radiator that does not fit. Fixing a bunch of stuff that has been neglected for a long time. What's up, everyone? Today we're going to start working on the Toyota pickup, start fixing it up a little bit. So one of the issues, this was already basically off. I just popped the rest of it. But one of the issues are these little things are popped off from the climate control, so I can't turn the heat on and off from in here. I had to like go out there and manually turn it. So I want to see if there's a cap or something that goes on here on my parts truck. Maybe I can just put a cap on there or something to hold this on there. It's hard to see, but I'm gonna try to get that all situated because that'd be nice to be able to turn the heat off from inside the truck. And this one, the top lever here, is to choose what level it comes out of, and that is also just kind of floating in there. So we'll see how complicated it is to pull the whole climate control off if I have to, but not really sure how this is going to go because there's a bunch of cables and stuff. I'm also going to be putting a radiator in it today, getting a used one from the guy I actually got the truck from, since this one I believe is plugged up with all the diagnosis that I did with in the last video. But yeah, also got to put belt buckles in here. We're going to just be swapping some stuff from my parts truck into this to make it a little nicer. There's a bunch of chopped wires in here too and pulled out, so I might actually try to switch the pigtails out from the other truck as well. Maybe get myself an actual cigarette lighter in here because this one is non-existent. It's just not here. What are you, painting your face now? Huh? What you got on there? So in here, just all I did was pop out these screws. There's one up here, and then the 2 on each side over here to get this out, and then I just unplugged it. Fairly simple, but now I gotta try to move all this junk over here so I can get under here and look better, because this block is where I need to lean. Well, it looks like it's a kind of a permanent thing, that little stud right there. So I'm gonna go about pulling this, or try to pull this out without breaking it, and maybe just swap this whole thing into my truck. These things are always brittle and easy to break, but what I did on my other one was put my fingers back here and just push it out like that. You don't have to worry about jamming something in between there and cracking it. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but this little lever, this is the one that adjusts where the airflow comes out of. It actually goes directly on top of this guy right here. So what I'm gonna do, instead of swapping everything over, since it's a pain in the butt, and the other one has a different stud here, so this has probably been replaced before because the other one has a stud that actually goes in here. I'm gonna try putting a bolt up all the way through with a nut on top and washers, so that'll get these 2 locked together again, and it should work. Theoretically, I'll just hook these back on. This one was unhooked already, and then see if that works. Alright, so I used this bolt. It's 10 millimeter. This is just off of a Honda from, I don't remember where it's from, but use this one since it had that little starter, jammed it in there, threaded it through. Now I'm gonna unbolt or unscrew with this, drop it down, and I have a longer 10 millimeter. And I'm gonna put all the way down through, that way I can stack a washer and a nut on here through the bottom, and if it ever does come loose, this will be in there at least, and I'll just have to put a nut back on, but it shouldn't with the washers. So I ended up going the other way because that bolt was too long to get down in there, because there's a little metal bar going across there and this white cable, so should work. I got a washer on there, and then a lock nut and a lock washer on the bottom. And I know there's probably a better way to do this, but I'm working with what I got. Free 99 to fix it like this. So it's all together now, and it works. I don't have it bolted or screwed back in. I'm just testing everything, but top works, bottom works. I think we're good to go. I also sprayed some silicone grease into like where the cables go, like on the actual cable itself going into there, because everything was stiff. This truck was sitting for over 10 years, so that's probably why everything was stiff, and someone probably went to go move it and just it popped off from being all seized in there. But this will get worked in there eventually, and it's already working better movement wise. So we'll bolt this back together and hopefully it stays together. Actually stole missing ones out of the other truck, so now we got all 4 and everything works. Now I can feel the cables back there. Mint. So easy fix if you're poor like me. All right, got that all together with these solder butt connector things. I'm gonna slide this back up there for protection, and then we'll put the face back on and we'll be at least good on this part of the truck. So I had an old cubby from like some aftermarket radio that I pulled out of one of the junk cars that I parted out. So I'm gonna run 2 cubbies since I don't have a radio, and I think a Bluetooth speaker would just be easier in this thing because the speakers are junk from the factory anyways, and yeah, it works. All right, cigarette lighter works. I just plugged my phone in to check it. It's kind of sketchy that there wasn't a blown fuse or anything because those bare wires were hanging out, but we're mint. I'm also gonna see if I can swap this mirror out of the parts truck with mine, because base model one doesn't have the little flippy thing, and I just figured might as well if I have one. So here we got the parts truck one, and this is the one in my 85, no flippy thing, so should bolt up the same. Checking fuses so I can get the dome light to work, and this has a better sticker, so I'm gonna put that in my truck too. Dome light works. So next I just pulled the buckles out of the parts truck. I'm gonna clean them up and then we'll throw them in here. This truck already has belts, so just swap those in. Alright, get those both zipped in. Brown seat belts, gray interior. Don't worry about it. I actually had this thing sitting around forever from my old truck, so I figured I'll just throw it in here since we got it. I'm gonna let it sit there for a few days, and once I get it, the radiator swapped out, and let it sit outside and it'll kind of settle a little bit, and then I'll put the little Velcro things on. Not too bad for a little interior refresh. Got all that sealed up so it doesn't look like wiring and junk, and then got all this stuff working. Got buckles so I can actually not die if I crash, and well, probably die anyways because it's a 80s Toyota, but maybe someday I'll buy a carpet when I have the extra money. Now we're just waiting on the radiator to get here, and then we'll swap that in. Oh yeah, I forgot, one more other thing I gotta do is take the filler neck off the parts truck and put it on here, because at some point this had a different bed on it. It might have been flatbed or something, and they like chopped the neck so it's not long enough to go up here. So I'm just gonna take the one off the other truck and we'll be good to go with that. It'll be fully functional. Also, I'm not gonna do this today, but let me know what you think. Should I throw this bed on the truck? It's cleaner, but someone backed into something with it. I mean, I could pull it out a little bit, but I mean, at least it's cleaner rust-wise. It doesn't have Bondo on it. The other bed has a bunch of Bondo on it. So let me know what you think. All right, guys. So it's the next day, and unfortunately, the radiator that the kid had was bad. It had like JB weld on it and stuff, so it was just junk. Not gonna put that in. So I was able to find a new one, and they shipped it to the nearest store, and I went ahead and got that one, and we will see if it solves our issue. And unfortunately, the radiator cap is a different size, and I'm kind of upset that it's a plastic and aluminum radiator, but whatever, it is what it is. It's the only thing I had in stock, but it's a different size. But luckily I remembered I had a bunch of random spare Honda parts, and specifically some radiator caps, so I have a couple of these two are actually the same, so they will fit on there and hopefully hold pressure. The seals don't look too bad, but hopefully, at least for now, and I'll buy a new one maybe next week when I get paid. I just don't like these types of radiators because they usually fail at this seam right here where the plastic and aluminum meets, but it is what it is. It'll work for now, hopefully for at least a couple of years. Also, I stand corrected from my last video. The truck is leaking something, and I think it's gear oil. It might be coming out of the steering box or something. This is manual steering, but I gotta look at it a little more. I can't really tell what the heck is going on here. No idea. But I'll focus on that another day. I just want to get this swapped out and bled and see if that's my issue. And it's raining out and it's late and I had to work in the morning. So trying to get all this done so I can use the truck this weekend. Yeah, I think it is a steering box leaking. This is weird. I didn't know there's that much fluid in there. But I guess that'll be on the list to fix, or maybe I can figure out where it's actually leaking from. Maybe I can pop a thing off, like a cap off, and seal it again. But whatever. Not a major issue. Dude, I am convinced that they don't make manual radiators anymore. This is the transcooler. Obviously, it's not that big of a deal. You don't even have to cap it off, but I always cap it off just to keep moisture out of there. But yeah, the guy even ordered the one that didn't say automatic on it, and still have a transcooler on there. I don't know why. It's not that big of a deal, but it does kind of take away some of the cooling power of the radiator because it has the trans line running through there, but whatever. Well, unfortunately, this lower radiator hose is swelling, so I'm still going to throw this new radiator in tonight, but I'm not even going to bother burping the system. I'm going to see if the parts store has a similar hose for me tomorrow, and hopefully it's like $5 or something. But yeah, I'm not going to even bother putting it back together and running it and burping it with this on it, because this is just ready to blow. I should have checked it, but when I was looking down, you could see this end's actually fine, but that end is definitely swelling pretty well. Bro, you won't believe this. Look at this. Hood won't close. The radiator is too tall. I can't believe this. Cannot believe this. Well, and the radiator is in the only way it can go. Even the little tab down there, everything. No other bolts to put it in. Can't believe this. Alright, it's next evening. Let's see if we have the right radiator this time. Oh, it looks a little smaller. It's plastic again, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Automatic, once again. Definitely looks smaller. I'm going to drop it in quick and see if the height is good. Well, the good news is it's the wrong radiator. So it doesn't even line up with the bolt holes. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't even come over far enough. I have that side bolted in. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, how many different radiators can you possibly have for an 85 Toyota pickup? Like, I might be able to make it work if I hollow that hole out more in the bottom one. Oh my goodness. Like, even the shroud doesn't quite fit correctly. All the bolts are slightly off. Like, these ones I wouldn't even be able to get a bolt in. So I don't know if the brackets are shifted or something. Maybe it was put together wrong. I don't understand this. I just loosened all four of these bracket bolts to see if I can maybe shift it or something. Nope, can't shift it in any way, so I have no idea what's going on. Alright guys, it is 11:30 o'clock at night. 11:30 o'clock. That's how tired I am. I have to get up early in the morning, but I just took a trip, like an hour and some drive each way to go get this radiator, and finally got one that bolts in. So, AutoZone for the wind, Duralast brand radiator. And the moment of truth. Let's see if this one closes. Oh my goodness, it doesn't close, dude. Are you serious? How do three manufacturers make a radiator that does not fit? Oh my, I cannot make this up, man. This is the third brand new radiator. Do I just have the worst luck ever or something? Or what is going on here, man? Like, third different radiator. This is this different parts store. This is the only one that at least bolted up. The cowl bolted up correctly. It bolted to the truck, but now it's just slightly too tall. The first one I tried was like 2 inches too tall, and this is the smaller radiator. They have like a 15 and a 16 inch one, and this is the 15 or whatever the smaller one is. So I don't get it. I do not get this. Or Toyota's like this dumb with aftermarket parts. I don't know, but I at this point I have to make this one work. This will be the easiest one to make work. What I'm going to do is take where the bolts go through there. I'm gonna round those out a little bit so the radiator can slide down further on all four corners, and it should work after that. It's my only option at this point. What am I gonna do? Keep wasting all this time? This is incredible. Like, if you know anything about Toyota pickup or 4Runner radiators, and maybe there's something I just don't know, but literally this is I went through every option at this point, besides a diesel radiator, which I'm assuming is almost the same. But anyways, yeah, this is incredible. I feel absolutely defeated right now, but we're gonna make it work. And you can see that little mark right there is where the radiator cap is hitting. So I mean, I could either cut the skeleton of the hood, but I don't even know if that would be enough, because I mean it's not even latching the hood right now. So, and I don't want to cut the hood, so we'll just round those holes out down there. I mean, maybe we could round all four of these out, but it'd be easier to round these ones out. So we'll just do that tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. Not gonna bore you with everything. You just throw this in. I just used a step drill to put holes up further on the bracket itself so I can slide it down in the engine bay, and we'll get this thing in hopefully once and for all. All right, got it all in, got the coolant filled up, so now I'm gonna start it, bring it outside and let it burp. It's kind of cold out, so it's gonna take forever. Well, the truck is still doing the same exact thing. So the only other factor that might be causing it to run hot, and bottom hose is ice cold, especially tonight when it's like 25 degrees, is going to be this pipe right here. The only thing I can think of is that pipe has something plugged in it. I looked in here, that was all clear. I could see the water pump in there. So yeah, the only other thing is that pipe. I have a spare one right here, which I was just gonna throw on anyways, but this one has like an outlet right here that one does not have, because this is off a 22RE. So I'm guessing this goes up to the intake or something. So if I can figure out how to plug this like permanently where it's not gonna have like a cap or something that's gonna blow out or whatever while I'm driving sometime, I might just see if we can figure that out and swap that, but that's gonna be tomorrow because it is late once again and I have to work in the morning. All right guys, so last night I replaced this off camera, pulled this off, and there was no plug in it. It was a little rusty, the scale you can kind of see there, but there's nothing plugged. It goes all the way through. I can see light. So and I took it out. I didn't want to video it because I've just been dealing with this thing, but yeah, still overheated again once I start driving. So I am beyond confused. So as of right now, the only weird thing that changed was I'm getting pressure. So I'm getting like coolant system pressure. Like these hoses got pretty hard, top and bottom. The only other thing I can possibly think of is different cap. I've already had 3 different caps on this thing, and so I'm thinking I might be chasing like 2 or 3 different cooling issues like throughout this whole thing, and now I've fixed a couple or something. But since now I'm getting pressure, which I didn't have before, so I'm guessing either new radiator cap will solve this, or possibly maybe the kid accidentally put the thermostat in backwards, because it seems like a flow issue, because I'm still getting an ice cold lower radiator hose and a hot upper, and overheats when drives. So that's the only other weird thing I can think of that's restricting flow. So I'm going to do another thermostat, which that one's brand new, but we're going to replace it anyways. See if it's backwards, new radiator cap, and if it overheats after that, I'm just done. I give up. Well, thermostat's incorrect, but we'll throw a new one on just for the heck of it. Alright, so my new thermostat, just pulled it out and I'm like, wow, that looks a little bit different. That's the part number, CarQuest part. got the seal, and it just confirmed the part number online that it fits my truck. Look how much different. Oops, let me get a headlight. Look how much different that is. It's way longer. I mean, I don't know if that'd make much of a difference, but maybe this is the wrong thermostat. But usually, I mean, there's same or similar temperature, so I don't know. But we'll throw this in and go from there. Throw the new radiator cap, burp it again. I only drained a little bit out of the cooling system, so it shouldn't take long to burn or burp. So yeah, hopefully this fixes it. Dude, I think we're finally mint. Hasn't even tried to climb even close to halfway. Well, I think we're good. It must have been a mix between the thermostat and the radiator cap. I have no idea. Doesn't make any sense because I could feel the other thermostat bleeding. You could see the bubbles coming up, unless it was, I don't know. No idea. And it was a brand new thermostat. I did lower the PSI on the radiator cap as well. I don't know what the other one was, but I got a 13 PSI, which is factory OEM spec. There's a part number for you. So, no idea, dude. That is the weirdest coolant overheating problem situation I've ever chased in my life. I was just looking at the old thermostat, and there's a bunch of like silicone in it. So I don't know if maybe that was causing an issue. Maybe it was half plugged up when it was trying to open up or something. I've noticed there's silicone like everywhere. There's a seal, like you put the seal in and then silicone over it. So I don't know. That's just another guess. Well, like I said, I think it was a combination of a couple things. And the radiator, the old radiator anyways that I pulled out, had a bunch of rust in the bottom, so that needed to be replaced regardless. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make that all as short as I can, the coolant thing, because I want to make this one video. But I also picked up a new exhaust manifold, so we'll throw this on. That'll get rid of the exhaust leak, and this thing's gonna be mint for running and driving wise. Well, running wise, because I still got to do the wheel bearings, but other than that, it should be a good runner. It's actually a few hours later now. We're gonna dig into this. I had to go celebrate Leah's gotcha day. So 2 years ago today, I got her off the interstate abandoned, and it's been a good 2 years. I love that dog. But anyways, let's get right into this. All right, I haven't even actually pulled this out and looked at it. Has a little plug here. So the 22R and the 22RE have the same manifold. One just has a O2 sensor, and this one actually has a 22RE manifold on it, but yeah, it's leaking, so we'll swap it out. I probably could just throw gaskets on the old manifold, but at this point I just don't even want to risk it being warped or something, so whatever, we're just gonna put a new one in. It's gonna look good. It was only like $100. Surprisingly, it's actually cheaper at the parts store locally than ordering off like Rock Auto, probably because of shipping, because it's heavy. But yeah, let's get this put in. Oh, that might be part of our exhaust leak right there. This is all loose. Some of these bolts were loose too on the top side of the manifold. But actually already tightened up all the top ones a couple days ago, so this lower one might be the cause, but that gasket looks bent anyways, because this is just a bunch of carbon around the seam, so we're just gonna replace it. You can see here where the exhaust is leaking on these little gaskets. Oh yeah, really bad back there. So probably a good thing we're replacing these. I don't even know. This is weird. I've never actually replaced one of these. It's kind of weird how the bolts go through there, and there's like a gasket on the back side and then the front side. Huh. Odd. Oh, duh. After I just filmed that last clip, I had a brain blast. I forgot this is EGR deleted, so there's a little tubes that come off this, kind of like my square body has. I think it still has that, but yeah. So these are just kind of ghetto EGR delete plates. Maybe I'll order some real ones, because I don't know, that might be the cause of why it's leaking, because it's not too flat. But I'll clean this up and we'll put them on, and hopefully that works. We'll see what this gasket looks like. Maybe it's leaking out of here too. Well, this might also explain the exhaust leak. So here's an O-ring, and then there's a old O-ring underneath it. That explains that one. Yeah, this thing was leaking all over the place. And that backside cylinder 4 was leaking. Both sides. This truck was definitely just like slapped together really quick. I mean, there's a bunch of transmission bolts that are missing as well, so I gotta find some. But yeah, we're getting there. I'm discovering more and more crap, but it's getting buttoned up here with my care. So all the studs were also loose, so I torqued them in, did the 2-nut method where you stack nuts, tighten them, and then tighten them in. I'm not sure the torque spec, but I just made sure they're pretty snug. But man, everything on this truck is just whipped together. I'm backtracking a little bit, but I'm actually just gonna reinstall the OEM one because, I mean, these, as you can tell, like the holes are really not nice on this thing. Made in China, and then versus obviously the factory one, they're perfectly circle, and there's a bit more whatever circumference. I don't even know, my brain's fried right now from working on this thing. But yeah, and I compared it, I put flat to flat. It is flat, so there is no warpage. I'm gonna just clean up the mounting surfaces and then drop this one back in, and maybe eventually I'll get a plate right here like this one, but I'll probably just get my money back on this. Alright, that was way more work than I anticipated, just finding bolts, because the kid had like random bolts going through here, so I had to find a bunch of stuff, different washers. I found bolts for this to plug here because those were not existent, and yeah, just washers, and I just don't have a lot of hardware here laying around. But yeah, let's see if it leaks. Alright, I think that fixed it, and it doesn't sound like it's leaking. It's not nearly as loud if it is. Exhaust sounds very quiet as well from the rear. And yeah, I guess we'll take it on a test drive tomorrow. If I wake up early enough, I'll take it to church in the morning. Just send it. It's kind of a road trip, but I probably shouldn't, but we're all about sending it around here. Gotta see if it's reliable. It's the next day. I didn't end up bringing it to church because I still want to get transmission bolts in there. I didn't want to get up extra early because I didn't even get out of here till like midnight last night, and I still didn't eat dinner, so it was just, I got to bed way too late. But yeah, got bolts in there now, more bolts in the transmission, and should be good to take it for a test drive now. Also, the little drain plug down there is leaking on the brand new radiator, so that is cool. It's just barely leaking, so I'm just gonna run it for a little bit, and then I'm gonna just take this radiator back, I guess. Lifetime warranty on a Duralast radiator, thank God. So just one more thing to the list. Yeah, it is so much quieter from the front end now. Now they have everything buttoned up and gaskets, new gaskets in there. I don't think it's leaking anymore from the manifold, or anywhere actually. Well, I'm starting to have hope for the truck. I was kind of just thinking I was going to end up parting the truck out because I was just chasing my tail, but just a series of random problems, like I said before, but fix one thing, and then when you replace something using some other part, and there's probably like 3 things wrong with the cooling system, or 2, and then I added one with the other cap that I had on the radiator. So if that was even the thing, I don't know if it was that or the thermostat, but whatever it was, it's running good now. It's staying temperature and all that stuff. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep the truck around. All we got to do is wheel bearings and fluids. I'm going to do fluids in it, and should be all right to drive and start putting in work. So excited for that. Maybe we'll go up in the mountains with it. It needs springs and shocks and stuff like that, but not a safety issue. They're just sagging. So we'll be good to go from there. So this is random but funny. I was just going through the glove box in the truck, and this receipt is from a drive-through 2012. So yeah, truck's been sitting for a long time. You can see how like yellowish tan this is from just the heat in the glove box. Don't know what restaurant this would be, like McDonald's or something. Let me know in the comments. Kind of curious. But look at that. 13 bucks for all that food? Yeah, right. Not in 2024. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. It's going to be a really long video, so I apologize for that. But you guys voted on Instagram. You wanted a long video instead of a short clipped version of everything. So got that out to you guys. Hope you guys enjoy, and stay tuned for the rest of this build, project, or whatever restoration thing you want to call it, on a budget, of course, as always. If you like the video, I appreciate a like. Subscribe if you want to follow along with the build and my other projects. Also, subscribe to my Instagram, Conjo_brothers, if you want to see more content on there, more sneak peeks, and all sorts of stuff. And as always, thank you guys for watching.